real stories of werewolves, of Dogman from history, from your emails, illustrated and animated with the democratizing magic of machine learning AI. Welcome to Scary Stories.
You know, sometimes the scariest stories aren't the ones that end in blood and violence. Sometimes, the ones that really get under your skin are the encounters that make you question everything you thought you knew about reality. This is one of those stories. It was late October, about 3 years ago. I just left this house party downtown. You know the kind. Everyone's trying to pretend they're still in college even though they're all pushing 30. But I mean, I sure didn't mind. I never went to college, so it was fun living vicariously. I'd met someone there. Her name was Sarah, and she had this way of making everything else in the room disappear when she talked. We'd hit it off immediately, talking about everything from true crime podcasts to her work as a wildlife photographer to my job, which I'd rather not name here. By the end of the night, we'd already planned to meet for drinks the following Friday. Walking home that night, I couldn't wipe the stupid grin off my face. She was out of my league, but I was in the mood to get promoted anyway. That's when everything just sort of, changed. You know that feeling when the hairs on the back of your neck stand up? When your primitive brain is screaming at you that something's wrong, but your logical mind is staring at its phone and not even listening? I heard footsteps behind me. Heavy ones. At first, I told myself it was just another person heading home from the party. But the rhythm was wrong. Too heavy. Too slow. Too creepy. When I finally gathered the courage to turn around, I saw a silhouette that didn't make sense. It was massive, easily 7 feet tall. But it wasn't just the height. The proportions were all wrong. The shoulders were too broad, the arms too long. Then it stepped into the light. I'd like to say I had some profound thought in that moment. I'd like to share these deep profundities with you too. Unfortunately, all I could focus on were details my brain couldn't process. The way its muscles rippled under dark fur. The way its eyes caught the streetlight and threw it back like golden fire. The way its muzzle, I'm serious. It had a dog muzzle, wrinkled to reveal teeth that would make a timber wolf look tame. I ran like I've never run before or since. The week that followed was surprisingly normal. I convinced myself I'd imagined it all. Stress, shadows, and an overactive imagination fueled by one too many horror movies. By Friday, I was actually looking forward to my date with Sarah. Dinner was perfect. Sarah was even more fascinating than I remembered. She told me about her photography work tracking urban wildlife, about strange things she'd seen in the forests around town. Looking back, I should have paid more attention to those stories. We decided to walk off dessert, following the path near Wilson Woods. That's when I heard that familiar heavy footfall again. Sarah heard it too. When she turned around, her face went white. This time, the creature didn't bother staying in shadows. It burst from the tree line like a freight train, moving with impossible speed on 2 legs. We sprinted to my car, fumbling with the keys like every bad horror movie cliché. The engine roared to life just as it reached us. In my rearview mirror, I saw those eyes again, now level with my back window. We tore through the empty streets, the creature keeping pace for 3 blocks before vanishing into an alley. What Sarah said next changed everything. "It's Trevor. It has to be Trevor." Her voice was shaking, but not just from fear of the creature we had just escaped. She explained that her ex-boyfriend Trevor had started changing a few months before they broke up. She'd caught him sneaking out on full moons, coming back with no memory of where he'd been. When she confronted him about it, he'd disappeared completely. In her opinion, the animal we'd narrowly survived attack from was her ex-boyfriend Trevor. I don't know what that man had done to her, but she seemed to think he was supernaturally powerful. I didn't believe her. How could I? I broke things off the next day. telling myself I was dodging a bullet by avoiding someone who clearly had issues with an obsessive ex. I thought she was crazy because she thought her ex was literally a monster. But that wasn't the end. Over the next few months, I kept seeing it. Never as close as those first encounters, but always watching. Standing at the edge of the park while I walked my dog, silhouetted against the moon on the water tower, looking down from the hill behind my house. I never saw Sarah again. Sometimes I wonder if I should try to find her, to apologize for not believing her. But mostly, I wonder about Trevor. Was he really cursed? Was he watching us out of jealousy? Or was it something else entirely? These days, I'm a lot less certain about what's possible and what isn't. One thing I do know. Sometimes the things we dismiss as impossible are simply things we're not ready to understand. And sometimes the real horror isn't in what we see. It's in realizing that everything we thought we knew about reality might be
wrong.
Tonight's episode would not have been Cena if it weren't for our executive producer, Sabrina. Please join me in thanking Sabrina Midkiff for making this episode possible. Sabrina donated $15 using our thanks button located under each of our YouTube videos. We can eat for 3 days, off of $15, even in Manhattan in 2025. So please know that every penny will be spent on survival, Sabrina, and that you are a lifesaver. Sabrina is also a channel member and is going to get to see our new secret episode this weekend. To explain more about that, here's our international TV spokesmongrel, Henry Lee Dogman. Hank?
Thanks, Biggie. And thanks to all of you for watching this far. If you liked it, please click like. If you'd like to see more of our work, please subscribe. And also click that bell icon if you'd like to be notified when we put out a new episode. To become an executive producer, you can donate to us through the thanks button under each of our videos or through our paypal.me/PeterBernard209 page. To receive cool perks like secret uncensored Dogman episodes far too wild to ever run on this channel, you can become a YouTube channel member by clicking the join button or join our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. Joining either at the $3 a month level or above gets you access to our over 25 hours of secret uncensored Dogman stories available nowhere else. Do you have a scary story about Dogman or some other kind of high strangeness that happened to you? Let us know by emailing us at scarystoriesnyc@gmail.com or by leaving us a voicemail message at 804-LA-SCARY. You may need to call back on that when it cuts off after I think 3 minutes. And if you don't want to do any of that stuff, thank you for simply watching to the end. Good night, and have a scary tomorrow.
Come back for more scary stories.